Jump Festa is well and truly behind us now, and with 50 or so days until the release of the final game, I figured it's time for us to do our final piece of speculation. Now, it is possible I do another speculation video in the future if the situation changes, but I don't think the situation is going to change too much, so I really do think this will be the final speculation video. Well, not necessarily final speculation video, but final roster prediction video. As far as the remaining number of characters go, I would say we're going to get around 12. Not only based on spreadsheet math, which puts us at around about 12 new characters anyway, but on top of that, it also falls in line with the words of Jonker Production, which again, Jonker Productions didn't do anything wrong. If you catch people out there saying that Jonker got some information wrong, make sure you let them know. If you haven't seen my video on it, or maybe you're not even aware of what Jonker Productions is or who he is, he's a popular leaker in the community. He often gets information correct early. For example, most recently, he confirmed Asta and Deku before official screenshots, scans, anything like that was released. However, recently his name has been dragged through the mud a little bit because of seemingly no reason. Jonker Productions claimed that there would be 12 more characters in the game. However, he did mention this right before Jump Festa, so people jumped to the conclusion that those characters would be at Jump Festa, which obviously did not happen. People were noticeably upset, but based on the fact that Jonker Productions hasn't wavered from this point yet, I'm assuming that these 12 characters are still in the game, and that we will get a trailer or something like that in the future revealing these characters. However, I do think they're either going to be the final characters or there won't be very many to follow them. So who can these 12 remaining characters be? Well, first of all, I think we do need to fill in the 3 box art franchises. Dragon Ball, One Piece, and Naruto will have about 6 characters, I would say. Possibly even 7. Regardless of what the number is, I think they'll all have the same amount. Meaning that at the very least, we get 4 more Naruto characters. So 4 of these slots will be dedicated to Naruto characters. I'll probably speculate about who that could be at the end of the video, but let's just go ahead and lock those in, leaving us with 8 slots for everyone else. Other than that, I don't see any other franchises that are currently on the roster getting additional characters. If any franchise did get additional characters though, I do think it would be Yu Yu Hakusho and it would be Hiei, but again, I'm not sure if that will happen. I'm fairly confident when I say any new character at this point is either going to be a part of a brand new franchise or a part of Naruto. So, what are the missing franchises? Right now, obviously, it has to be JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is the most notable one at the very least, which I could see featuring anywhere between 2 and 4 characters. I'm currently under the impression that Jotaro and Dio would be the most obvious picks. If we did get more characters though, it would probably be Jonathan and Joseph. I don't think this is going to happen though, because I'm almost 100% sure when I say each of the characters on the base roster will be involved in the story somehow. So if I'm Spike Chunsoft, knowing that, and I'm choosing all of the characters for the base roster, I don't think I would include Jonathan, Joseph, and Jotaro in the same story, in the same timeline, just to avoid timeline confusion or anything like that. It's not impossible, but I'm just going to say it's unlikely that we see Jotaro, Jonathan, and Joseph interact in the story together. So with our current speculation, we've got 4 Naruto characters and 2 JoJo's Bizarre Adventure characters, using up half of our 12 character limit. Other franchises likely to be represented are of course Hitman Reborn. I don't see Reborn getting more than just Suna though, so I think Suna is for sure going to be on that roster, so that leaves us with 5 more characters. For the next piece of information, I'd like to thank Griffin Station for pointing this out because I probably never would have noticed. The ERSB rating for the game has been officially revealed, and of course, a description comes alongside it to kind of clarify and justify the reasoning for the ESRB rating. In the description for it, though, it specifically mentions female cleavage, of which we don't really have a lot of in the game right now. This has led Griffin and others in the community to speculate that Medaka is going to be included on the roster because she's a notable and popular character who happens to show off significant amount of cleavage. I don't think this is the best way to arrive at this conclusion because we would only need 1 cleavage shot to justify that being included in the description of the ESRB rating, and of course we have Nami's clothing option in the game, which of course would be enough to justify that being included in the description. However, I still think Medaka is very, very likely. So I'm going to put Medaka on my prediction list. If you appreciate the coverage, go check out Griffin Station because I don't think I would have ever noticed that. And he's definitely a content creator worth supporting. So now we're down to 4 characters. And if we believe the word of Jonker Productions, which like I've said a few times now, I do, because I see no reason not to. Worth mentioning that Jonker Productions has teased specifically Assassination's Classroom, more specifically, Koro-sensei. Now, I've said in the past that I think Koro-sensei would be difficult to include onto the Jump Force roster, so I wasn't predicting him. But at this point, I think I've decided to drop that position. I just think that some characters' moves won't be included for the Avatar system. Now, this next one, I think a lot of people are going to accuse me of being biased towards My Hero Academia, but I also think that Bakugo is going to get a slot. That's right, I do think My Hero Academia is going to get 2 character slots, unlike Black Clover, who I do not think will get multiple character slots. I think Asta is it, at least until DLC. I think Bakugo has a real solid chance, boasting incredible numbers as far as popularity is concerned, and I think could add quite a bit to the story. Any further explanation as to why I think Bakugo is going to be in the game requires a very long conversation that I won't bother having here, but he's on my list regardless. So that leaves us at 2 remaining characters for the Jump Force roster, and with pretty much no evidence pointing at any other character, the second last slot is going to go to Gintoki. Gintama is a fairly popular series, and Gintoki is a character who's capable of being a serious character. He's just generally not portrayed that way. My only issue with him being on the roster is that there aren't very many comedic or gag characters right now, so he would have to show his more serious side, which I think is probably why we haven't seen him yet, but we'll wait and see, I guess. Again, somewhat basically, there's not a lot of information to go off of right now, but the reason why I put Psyche there as opposed to somebody like D. Greyman is because Psyche is a less well-known series. Not very many people know what the character is or what the series is about. And the same can be said for something like D. Greyman, but I think D. Greyman is more appealing as a DLC character, if that's something they wanted to do, or perhaps maybe these two will be switched around and Psyche will be DLC and D. Greyman will be base roster. Either way, I do think both of them will show up in the game eventually. It's just a question of whether they make it to the base roster or DLC. So I really don't know who exactly I would put in that 12th slot. Oh, and I totally forgot I promised to go over the Naruto characters. I think Madara is a shoo-in at this point, either Madara or Kagura, although I think Madara is more likely. Sakura I also think is a shoo-in for sure. With 6 character slots, surely the 3rd member of Team 7 would make it in. Then I'm going to go with Pain as a prediction. He's kind of an out-of-pocket pick. A lot of people aren't expecting Pain, but I'm going to go ahead and predict him right here, assuming that Naruto gets, of course, 4 more characters. And finally, Kakashi Hatake. Remember, this is not a wish list. My wish list would look much more like this, but that's not what this video is for. There's also the outside possibility that the box art franchises Dragon Ball, One Piece, and Naruto aren't done at 6, and that they could end at 7. If that's the case, I would replace my last 3 predictions with Doflamingo, Kid Buu, and Kaguya. Thought I'd add in that little bit of a caveat because my last predictions were completely foiled by the fact that One Piece and Dragon Ball were not done at 5. So that's my what if Dragon Ball and One Piece aren't done at 6. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, could you please leave a like on the video? It helps other people find it. Subscribe to keep up to date with future content. My name has been Bilbsy, and I hope you have a great 2019. I know I will. I've got so much planned for 2019, so I hope you are ready to come along the ride with me. See you in the next video.